Today and in the wood yard, we've got a delivery. Not an ordinary delivery, an extraordinary delivery. Here we go. So as most of you know that watch my channel, I don't do a lot of bundle wood. Most of the wood that I sell is in third cords, 2/3 cords, full cords, bulk loads, because I want to dump and go, and I just don't have time to babysit gas stations and places that have bundle wood. Not that I don't want to do it, not that I don't want the business, I just don't have time to do all that. And if I want to do it, I want to do it right. I want to get many stations, many places to put it so that it justifies doing it. But I just don't have the time to do it because of everything I got going on. But this particular one is a customer of mine that wants 10 bundles of kindling. And this is kind of a unique case because for those of you that watch a lot or have watched in the past, a year ago, this customer basically couldn't make a fire. And he was claiming that the wood that I sold him wasn't good to burn. And it was dry wood just like all the other wood. It was ash and ironwood and maple and a good mix of mixed hardwoods. And he couldn't get it to burn. And what happened was a lot of people on the channel watched it and made comments, and they were saying, oh, you know, either your wood is wet or maybe the guy doesn't know how to make a fire. Well, he knew how to make a fire, but he had something going on that was very unique. When they were trying to make a fire, they had their clothes dryer running, and they had a fan running for cooking in their house on the stove. So they had two exhaust fans running. So it was basically creating a downdraft on their chimney instead of an updraft, and they couldn't get the fire to burn. So it was a drafting issue, but it wasn't a plug draft, it was just a reverse draft that they had, which can happen. So that's one of those things that you got to be aware of. So I'm just going to kind of go over this a little bit here, what happened in the past. You can go back and watch that video if you want, but basically I went there, tested the wood, took him some kindling, and then he eventually got the fire going because they didn't have the fan running. But so I told him basically that, you know, the wood is dry, so you've got a problem with your flue or your draft or something, or is your damper open. I kind of went over all the usual suspects, figuring they had a plugged flue, something like that, and it wasn't any of that. They had it cleaned and they had never had an issue in the past. So anyway, we resolved it, and that video got a lot of views, a lot of comments. It was a big hit because a lot of people run into this and don't know what the issue is. So it's one of those things that you got to address. So then yesterday, I got this message from him. It says, hey Chris, we have enough firewood from wood we cut this year and leftover wood from last year that it's going to last us for at least a couple months, but we love the kindling. Because I had taken him, I think 4 bundles of kindling, saying, here, try this. Maybe you need kindling to get the fire going. And I know I took him two bundles of kindling, and he liked it so much that last year he bought 5 more bundles, and then now he says, hey, but I could use some more of that kindling, like 10 bundles. Thanks. And I said, sure thing, I can bring them tomorrow. It's $8 per bundle, which is what I sell them for, because they're pretty big bundles. For 10 bundles it'll be $80 cash. And he says, that's great. He says, we're on vacation right now down in Key West, but my sister will put money under the mat. Can you put the wood by the patio? I said, yes, that'll work. And he said, thanks. So I'm gonna load up 10 bundles of that kindling and take it to him, which is kind of nice. Now the kindling in general that I have, I pretty much have been giving it away to people that buy a lot of wood, people that will buy like 2 trailer loads full. So they're buying anywhere from 1 to 3 full cords from me, and I just give them a bundle or 2. And the reason I've been doing that is I kind of want people to get hooked on it. And I've had a lot of people now that will buy it from me. I sell it for $8 a bundle because they're pretty big bundles. And so people have been buying it, like this guy, and he wants to buy a bunch of it. So this is a good situation. So we resolved it. He can get the fire going now, and he wants some kindling. So we're gonna load some up right now. Okay, so over here, the bundles, now if you guys can see, we got a whole wall of them here, and I don't know how many I have. There's maybe 80 or 90 left. And you can see these are pretty big bundles. They're heavy too. They're really good. And I had a question that someone asked me just the other day about bundling, because I did a video with my brother bundling wood, and they wanted to know that if I bundle the wood and it sits for several months or even a year, does the shrink wrap degrade, and does the wood shrink down to where the bundles are loose? And yes, that can happen if you're bundling green wood, because the wood will shrink and then it'll be loose. But if you're bundling dry wood, fully seasoned, ready to burn now, it doesn't shrink down, and the shrink wrap stays nice and tight. And the pressure that we put on the bundler as we're wrapping it to keep it nice and tight, these are all really good. And these have been sitting in here now for over a year since I bundled these, so they're all really nice and tight yet, even though the cats play on them all the time. They got some that are starting to be ripped apart because they paw at them. Once in a while they lay up on top of the piles here. So we're gonna load up these and get them into the truck and then go deliver them. So. Ooh, that's a heavy one. A lot of this kindling is oak. There's oak, birch, there's some maple in there, maybe some ash. So it's a little bit of everything. Mostly oak though. So I'm gonna bring you guys out here. Look at that, the cats are playing. And I'm gonna take the wheelbarrow along with me because he wants it around to his back side of his property. So we're gonna wheel it around to the back for him instead of just throwing it in the driveway. So it's extra things you do for people they appreciate. Like I did, worked really hard with this guy trying to make sure he could get a fire going, trying to solve the issue. We figured it out and he's all happy then. So, all right, let's go get some more. It's a heavy one there, man. Oh, these are pretty heavy because there's a lot of oak in here. Let's just move this down. We're trying to get the barn organized too. We've got some cabinets we put in over here and some workbenches, so we're trying to get stuff organized before winter comes. So when we need to work inside, we've got a nice organized place. There we go. Kind of dusty. I think that's 10. Did I put 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can count to 10. I just learned how to do that. Now, I gotta throw the wheelbarrow up in there. Yeah. I am back in the wood yard after my delivery that you just saw, and I thought I'd talk about this a little bit because this was kind of a unique situation with a customer that went from a customer that had no problem to where he had a problem, and then I had to solve the problem, and I fixed it well enough that he trusted me with what I have and then bought more wood for me. Some of you told me when this was happening, and I know some of you go through these situations where you get an upset customer where you've got a problem, they got a problem, and I want to just mention that basically when you're in business selling a product, it's your job to figure out what the problem is. It might be the customer, it might be you, it might be your product. Something's not right, and it's up to you to solve the issue. And so you got to ask a lot of questions. And I asked this guy a lot of questions when this was going on. You know, how did you make the fire? Did you get a draft going? And he said he couldn't get a draft going. And we went back and forth and talked about it and communicated about, you know, what it possibly could be. And then he figured it out. And I did what it took to help him get the fire going. You know, I went and tested the wood. I brought him some kindling. I talked about starting the fire and make sure it was getting air and it was breathing. So all the things that you need to do, you got to realize not everybody knows what you know, and some people know more than you know. So it's good to talk and communicate as much as possible. So when you get a problem, don't run away. Don't be mad at the person. Don't assume that they did something wrong. Maybe they did, but try to figure it out so that you can make them happy. So he bought these 10 bundles of kindling, and we were in the back where we took the wood. You didn't see that. You just saw the part where we were unloading out of the truck. We took the wheelbarrow and went around the back where he stores his wood. And he had a nice wood pile there, that wood that I had there from last year that he still had, and some wood that he cut himself. And so we stacked it there, and he said, the kindling is just awesome. He said, It's the best kindling he's ever had, and it works fantastic for starting, and they really like it. And he said they'll actually make a fire, like build it pretty big with the kindling, and once it gets going good, then they put the wood on, because he said it's that good. So all ended well, and he's referred me to his neighbor who I've sold wood to that lives just a little ways from him. So it's a good situation. So making people happy is an opportunity for you to gain a really good customer and to gain even more customers. But if you don't take care of the problem, or you get mad at people, that's how you're going to lose people. So there's the lesson for the day. That's it for today, folks. Poke the buttons. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. with another video for you. Right now, you're going to go watch one of the 1,200 videos on my channel, because it'll make you tough. Good night, Irene.